Recently, I feel like we've been getting a lot of announcements for games that are getting sequels. We've got Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out, Beyond Good and Evil 2 just said it's in pre-production, and today, Dishonored 2 is launching. And when I did my Deadly Premonition video, I remember talking about how this game deserved a sequel. Sure, it was a little weird and the controls were a little wonky, and maybe the story of Deadly Premonition was done, but I would have loved to see a Deadly Premonition 2 in the vein of Final Fantasy, in that the second game, though carrying the same title, told a brand new weird story in a brand new weird world. I think it deserved that. But we never got it. And it got me to thinking, what games already launched, whether from the past or recently, that were great but never got a sequel? Left in the bin to die alone, when there are plenty of great stories in their worlds to tell, either with another game, a trilogy, or more. So I decided to start writing them down, and I narrowed it down to 6 games that I wanted to tell you guys about that I thought deserved a sequel. So let's get to the list, and I'm eager to see what you guys think. Halloween may be over, but the spooks never cease. And nowadays, good horror games are hard to come by. I said good horror games, get the shit out of here! One such good horror game is Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem for the GameCube. A twisted psychological romp through time, ancient beings and gods, multiple characters, and magic all starting in a mansion in the little state of Rhode Island for a woman investigating her grandfather's mysterious murder. If that sounds confusing, it's because that shit was confusing, but in the end you understood what was going on. The mood was fantastic, building tension and fear, not just being a jump scare fest. The game even broke the fourth wall a few times, making the player believe that their game was glitching, or reset itself, or messing up in some way. It was relentless, and it was fantastic. Surely Silicon Knights, the developers of the game, were headed for a bright future, and we'd certainly get a sequel to this awesome game. Oh god damn it! I really don't remember much about the Psyops story. It was pretty forgettable and was really only there to usher you from one level to the next. What I do remember? Blowing up people's brains with your mind powers, and tossing soldiers around the battlefield like helpless ragdolls. Ooh, and setting things on fire with your brain, and mind control. Oh yeah, Psyops was a game that encouraged you to make your own fun. It was one of the early 2000s games that had fun with its physics engine and made the things you could do with it the central gameplay loop. Tossing soldiers at other soldiers or tossing grenades back with your psychic powers was empowering, and gosh dang it, it was fun. I always wanted another Psyops game, and in my opinion the first one was criminally ignored. But hey, at least we got Force Unleashed a few years later, and I guess that's close enough? Now, I've already spoken at length about what a magnificent game Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is in proper video form. I love RPGs. Like, really love them. Boy. I've already done a complete playthrough of the game over on my gameplay channel, where I learn in real time how ahead of its time this RPG was, with branching storylines, multiple endings, side quests that take surprising turns, and complete freedom of choice on how you plan to play the game. It was a buggy mess on release, the combat needed some work, and it was clearly rushed out the door at the end, with its final levels being repetitive and boring. But even 12 years after release, the community is still modding and patching the game, and the game stands really well even by today's high standards. So why haven't we gotten a new one yet? Take Monster Hunter boss mechanics and make it an open world RPG. That's Dragon's Dogma, and it was awesome. Another, sir. I demand another. Okay, in all seriousness though, Dragon's Dogma had some issues. Traveling could be a slog, and enemy NPCs had set spawning locations, so if you had to travel through the same area, which you often had to do, you'd fight the same horde of enemies over and over, and it could get annoying and repetitive. But overall, I loved Dragon's Dogma, and the expansion and recent PC port made it even better. Combat was incredibly satisfying. Melee combat was robust, with combos and team attacks where your NPC companions could help. Magic was a spectacle and utterly devastating. And boss battles were epic. climbing on top of the bosses to hit their blind spots and lopping off body parts. And there was a really neat online component where you could create a pawn character. Every time you logged off, other players could recruit that pawn to help them with missions in the world. And then when you logged back on, the pawn would have gained a little bit of experience and brought back some minor rewards for you. Dragon's Dogma had some really cool ideas that I'd love to see revisited again one day. Capcom, give me more, baby! Advent Rising is another game that I covered extensively a long while back. But that was a video long ago from a Mathis that had a very poor speaking voice.
With a narrow escape, Gideon crashes into a nearby planet after making a fateful decision on whom he has to save.
Regardless, I still lament what could have been with Advent Rising. It was a planned trilogy which planned to implement story changes from game to game depending on your decisions from the previous game, well before Mass Effect was ever a thing. It had a neat sci-fi setting, a story written by Orson Scott Card, and some fun as all heck psychic powers, and a bright, colorful aesthetic. But it was received to middling reviews and never sold particularly well. Even the improved PC version didn't do much to move copies. It would be Majesco's final AAA game before riding off into the sunset on a very mediocre horse. That joke worked better in my head on... Bully. Bully deserves a sequel. That's it. Nothing else to say, really. We're getting Red Dead Redemption 2. We've already got about 17 Grand Theft Autos. Just give me Bully. Give me Bully 2. Let me roam the halls of a college. Get me a girl or boyfriend. Beat up some people. Go to class to play mini games. Just give me Bully. Give me Bully 2. Just give me Bully 2, Rockstar. Just give it. Give it to me! I'm curious if I'm alone in wanting more Advent Rising. I know the game wasn't received well, and there are people out there that played it that I talked to that said they didn't really like the game that much, but I can't really tell you why I love Advent Rising so much. I just do, and I'd love to see more of it.
That's a lie. I did a 20-something minute video on it years ago saying why I loved Advent Rise. I can tell you exactly why I loved Advent Rise. You should go watch.
Regardless, those are 6 games I'd love to see sequels for. And of course, there are countless games out there that I'd love to see their worlds expanded, or what other stories could be told, or again, going the Final Fantasy route, using the same development mindset and weirdness, if you're talking about Deadly Premonition, and telling other stories out there. That's what sequels are great for. Expanding worlds and telling us new things about them. So, like I said, there's tons of other games out there that deserve sequels. I'm curious what your favorite games that never got sequels are. Write them down in the comments section below, and I look forward to reading your answers. It's one of my favorite parts of doing these types of videos. And while we may never get a Psyops 2 or an Advent Rising 2, I really hope we're gonna get a Bully 2. One day, Rockstar, Bully 2, we've only been shouting at you for years at this point. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm pumped to see your answers. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to bringing you my next Judge Mathis. Perhaps it'll be on a game that I mentioned in this video at one point. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. What could it be? What could it be? I'm so sneaky. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for watching this top 6 list of games that deserve sequels. If you guys want to hear me rant and talk more, make sure you follow me on all the social medias, including Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff. Make sure you also click that little bell next to the subscribe button to get notified when new videos go live. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you watch my last Judge Mathis on Condemned. It was a spooky one. And if you want more of me just talking about games every single day, you can go to my gameplay channel at youtube.com/MathisGames. I look forward to bringing you to the next episode, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye!